Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing a pretty cool little RC truck by JJRC. This is called the Madman. Let me show you the box here so I can get into the view. The Madman, it's a four-wheel drive short course truck. Show some of the stuff on it. It's got a high-speed servo 1500 milliamp battery. Shows how it's set up. We'll go over all that when we look at it. But it's, like I said, it's four-wheel drive. You can see the front moves the back, back moves the front. It does have a wheelie bar in back, so if you, go in reverse and then forward, it can ride a wheelie, and this is to help it maintain the wheelie. Though, from my test, it tends to get a little squirrely and want to flip. It doesn't always hold its wheelie very long. It seems to be constructed of a pretty good composite plastic. It's not like a cheap ABS plastic. Lexan body is really sharp. If you want the nice glossy look, then take that protective sheen. You can rip off. You can probably see a little bit left on here. It's kind of hard to get all this pulled off when you're pulling it off. But it's this little, that's a protective sheen, I call it, they put on there. And then if you pull it off, you'll get a lot, the glossy look to it. Let's go ahead and look underneath the body. I have there's four of these cotter pins that, the body clips we call them, that go on to hold the body in place. Took that off so we had easy access to the internals. You can see inside it uses a 390 brushed motor with these little aluminum cooling fins on it. Make sure that that's pushed down. Mine was kind of popped up because this motor does get awfully hot from running a four-wheel drive system on a little 390 brushed motor. It's got the front's got the two suspension shocks side by side, laying horizontal, and the back's got the vertical. It is independent suspension, as you can see in the front. On the rear, though, it is independent, but it's kind of, as you can see, it's one molded piece here for the rear gearbox, even though it's still a differential. But it's just a little bit, it's not like totally independent. I know exactly what you call that. It's got a drive shaft that runs down the body here with a little swing shaft like here that runs from the front to the rear gearboxes. And I said it works pretty good in terms of how that's set up. The front here has got this plastic with a bit of like metal reinforced dog bones, so those are going to be really strong, so it's going to be difficult to break the parts on this, especially the dog bones. It just seems to be really well built for one of these for a JJRC vehicle. Here's your it's not 3-in-1, but I'm thinking of drones. This is your ESC and receiver, your combo. It has some extra plugs here. I'm not sure if that's the power lights or something if you want to add to it. It does have like a slipper type tension for the gear here, the spur gear, so you can adjust how much tension before it would slip to allow keep from stripping that gear whenever it's going, like if you jump or land, accelerate, and brake, that it's keeping the tension off of it. So it uses I have it plugged in, which wasn't a good idea, but this is a Dean's plug. The battery, I've got it inside of here still. It is like I said, I think it's a 1500 milliamp hour 2-cell lithium ion. It's 20C. So you just put that in here and put your little clip down here and then clip it into place to hold the battery in there. If I can get the clip in here, there we go. The charger it comes with is a AC wall adapter, not USB. It just charges off the balance plug, so it takes about 2.5 hours to charge up. It's kind of slow, and that's because it's using just the balance plug. I'd highly advise, if you've got a hobby grade with a Dean's connector, which is a very common connector, that you just go ahead and use that on a lithium ion charging setting if your charger has it, like my B6 AC has a lithium ion setting. You can charge this thing up in under an hour then easily. You know, the run time is around 15 minutes or so. Like I said, depending on how you drive a ground vehicle, is going to vary. But overall, it's not too bad. I think it goes. I think they claim 50 kilometers per hour. You know, somewhere around 25 miles per hour. I don't know if it goes that fast. You know, I might be a little bit generous, but you know, it moves along pretty good, especially considering this is not a super expensive toy. It also comes with a parts bag. It comes with one of those universal wrenches to take off the wheels or do repairs. It comes with several pinion gears, so you can actually, if you want to go in there and mess with it, you can change the gearing ratios for more acceleration off the bat or a higher top speed. Comes with a couple Allen wrenches and a couple extra of the body clips. The controller, you know, it's a basic pistol grip. There's your gas and your brake. It is proportional, just like the steering is. So you can steer it a little bit or a lot. And it just has a steering trim here. And I had to have mine all the way to the right, like when they attached the servo saver here, you know, they should have had the servo a little more centered. So to get my steering, you know, close to being centered, I had to put my steering trim all the way to the right. So what really needs to be done is it needs to have that screw taken out, turn the servo on, get it to a center point, adjust the trim back, and then put the servo saver on and put the screw in, and that'll set the position. And then you won't have to have the steering trim all the way to the side. Most likely mine's just a fluke one. I imagine most of them are not going to be coming with it all the way to the side, but that's a very simple fix. Just getting that servo saver, that's what they call this piece here, off, and just recentering it. So overall, not a bad little buggy, pretty sharp, kind of fun to drive around. Would be really good for a kid. It says ages 8 and up, so that sounds about right for me. Maybe you could, I have no doubt my 6-year-old daughter can drive it, so probably more like 6 and up. But pretty cool little guy, so a lot of fun. I think we covered everything. If there's anything I forgot, then I'll try to mention it real quick in a driver view. So let's go ahead and move along to that driver view. Okay, so I'm outside now with the Madman. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. The on and off switch is here on the side, right in front of the receiver, which I didn't mention earlier. So you go ahead and slide that forward. Should be turned on. I'm glad to set him down. Go ahead and turn your controller on. Now it's bound up. See, the steering's really good. A lot of power, high speed, and I think you want a high speed servo so you can steer quick, and it seems to be a high torque too. It has plenty of power. So let's go ahead and we'll take it out here and drive it around. That's about half speed right there. Just to kind of show you. You can go even slower. That's about as slow as you can go. Let's go ahead and open it up. There's the highest speed. See, it kind of wants to flip a little bit. I said I've got the steering trim all the way to the right, so it really needs it, and it's kind of pulling a little bit there. Let's see if I can adjust it back to the left. I mean, it's hard to get these little RC cars, especially the toy grade ones, lined up real perfect. They'll tend to, you know, on 2 wheels. Let's take it off here in the grass and show you. It's got good power. I mean, really good power, and you would hope so from a 4-wheel drive. But that little 390 brushed motor seems to do pretty good. The 2-cell lithium ion really provides some kick to it. But it's zipping through the grass a lot better than some of the other toys that I've used. I said, that's going pretty good. I mean, that might be 25 miles an hour. I would say it's certainly going 20. Moves along good. And there I slammed on the brakes and it flipped over. And we'll see if we can try the wheelie. That's where it really, riding a wheelie is where it really can get a little squirrely on you. You know, you're gonna beat up these Lexan body tops if you flip and roll these vehicles a lot, but I hate to beat mine up, so I'm probably driving a little bit more delicately than I should. Let's see here if we can bring it off my driveway because it's a little bit sloped. I'll put it back on. We'll do the try to do a wheelie. So as you see, it doesn't have acceleration on a brush motor to be able to ride a wheelie off the start. So let's go ahead and we'll back it up and then we'll do, well, I didn't do it. There, see there it's riding a wheelie, and that's what the wheelie bar's purpose, to keep it from flipping. That actually worked pretty good. It's not going to ride a wheelie very long, and a few times I've done it, it actually did, like I said, get a little squirrely on me. Let's try it again. Not too bad. At least I kept it, you know, up in the air and kept it upright. But when you slam the brake on, as you can see, it brakes very hard, and that flipped over immediately. So I would suggest, if you're gonna brake, let off the gas and then tap it, so you're not going quite as fast. See, I let up, then brake, and now I'm okay. If you brake when you're going full speed, it is gonna want to flip. It brakes very hard. I don't know if this has ball bearings. I suspect that it does have it in the gearbox, but I did not take the wheels off to inspect. So many of these cars now are coming with ball bearings, which I think is great. That was not a common thing years ago, even in the kit cars. But ball bearings have become, I guess it's much easier to machine them now. They're much more common. I suspect it, you know, as I said, it has it in the gearbox. I don't know if it has it on the in the wheels. If it has bushings, it'd be easy to replace those. Usually the box will say if it has ball bearings, just because that's a good selling point. I did not see it on the box. But just a really sharp and a really fun little car. I think this would make a really nice Christmas present for a kid. I can't really say much wrong with it. It's just a little easy to flip, and it's a little bit, you know, squirrely when you're doing a riding a wheelie, but that's to be expected. Just kind of cool that it has a wheelie bar. You don't typically see a wheelie bar on cars at this price point, but it's able to do them enough. That's why they had to include it. Otherwise, if you put it in reverse and going forward, you're going to end up flipping it over even more. So that should pretty much wrap up. I think we've shown enough here. I had driven it some before this, so it looks to me like it's starting to lose power, but it certainly gets a longer run time than I've tested here because, like I said, I've driven it some before on this battery. That's why in the table review I still had it plugged in. So I just did a little extra test review before this, just to make sure everything was still functioning properly before I brought it out here. So, you know, expect at least another 5 minutes on top of what I just drove it right now. So overall, really nice little truck. I don't have a lot of negative things to say about it. Be sure to check out the description of the video where I have a purchase link. If you are interested in this, you can pick it up. I've got it in there. If there's any coupon codes for this truck or any sale codes on the website, I will include it in there. This is from Hobby NRC, and they are owned by Litake. It's just like Litake's own RC only dedicated website. So if you're a little unfamiliar, say, oh boy, I don't know about this brand or this website, I don't trust it. Well, you can, because it is owned by Litake, and I've had really good success with Litake. They're a good Chinese vendor. So don't, if you're interested in this, don't hesitate buying just because of that unfamiliar website, because it is very new. It's only a few weeks old. So all right, well, I think that wraps it up. Everybody, I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, and see you guys later.
The power of the dark side.